Welcome back, Pokemon fans. Angel of the Night 091 here, coming at you with another tutorial video for the Nintendo Switch online service. As you guys know, with Pokemon Worlds 2023 happening over the weekend, they announced that Pokemon Stadium 2 is now onto the Nintendo Switch online service. So, as you guys know, in the past tutorials that I've done a tutorial for Pokemon Stadium with Switch Online and how to use the Transfer Pack. Now, I'm going to show you that the method actually still is fully functional with the Nintendo Switch Online. If we go into the free battles here, I actually have already tested this theory out, and we've already tried out a rental team. Not a rental team. We've tried out registering a team with my Pokemon Gold Game Boy cartridge. Now, as you guys can see, this is actually a game cartridge from my actual Game Boy here. As you guys can see, this is my Game Boy Color, and this is my Pokemon Gold. Now, as you guys can see, it's a little bit more metallic. This is a Boxy Pixel Game Boy Color cartridge. This is also a Boxy Pixel with a Freckle Shack mod into it, built-in battery with USB microcharging. But that's a completely different story. We are going to go into a full-blown tutorial here and show you guys exactly how to do this process. Now, for the first part of the tutorial, I'm going to show you here exactly how I'm ripping my game cartridge. If you guys are like me and have a lot of the old game cartridges and you still like playing on the original hardware, to me that's very important to me. But I will show you guys here in just a sec. We're going to switch over to our laptop screen here. As you guys can see, we have the background going here with the desktop. That's pretty awesome. So I'm going to be ripping my Game Boy Color cartridge with the SYS module GB01. This is a device that allows you to put your Game Boy Color cartridge or Game Boy Advance cartridge or Game Boy cartridge onto your computer, download the ROM, basically backing it up or backing up your game save and uploading them. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to put my game cartridge directly into the GB01 here. We're going to plug that into the computer, and then we're going to open up the actual application here. Now, this device is no longer supported by the manufacturer. If you guys are looking for a device to be able to back up some stuff, you can get this device. The software is still available, or you can get the Game Boy Operator. Two different devices allowing you to do two very different things. The Game Boy Operator allows you to play the actual Game Boy cartridges on your computer as well, so no emulation really required. So we're going to select the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, Game Boy Camera. As you can see, it picks up the Pokemon Gold version. I can download the ROM or upload a save or download a save. So we're actually going to download our save here. So we're going to pick a location. I've actually got a game save there already, but I'm just going to save it to a folder. And we're going to hit download. Very, very simple. There we go. We've got our game cartridge already backed up. So as long as you have this type of a setup here, you can play your game on your Game Boy, back up your game save, and play it on Pokemon Stadium by using that transfer pack. And it's pretty cool. So we're going to close out of that. I do have a Game Boy Color game save now onto the computer. I also have a ROM of Pokemon Gold on my system as well, ripped right from my cartridge. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we have to actually back up our Pokemon Stadium game save. Now, for the process of this, there's a few things that we're going to do. You're going to need custom firmware on your Nintendo Switch. If you do not have custom firmware, this is not a possibility for you. There's no way that you can actually get this to work. Okay, so we're actually going to go in. We're going to connect into Homebrew, and then we're going to back up our game save. Now, I don't have my checkpoint into the normal folders, so please bear with me. We are going to go into here, and I got to remember how to switch my profiles. There we go. I'm going to select my main profile. I forgot what button it was. I apologize, guys. So we are going to go down to our Nintendo Switch. As you can see, I already have a backup there. It's something that I used to test earlier. So we're going to do a new backup. We're going to call this here Stadium 2 Test. Okay? So Stadium 2 Test. Okay, this is just that way it's a different game save than what I currently have exported. So we're going to back out of this. We're going to close that. And that's literally the only thing that we can do here for this process. So I have to be able to access my SD card on my Nintendo Switch. If I go back into Homebrew and we scroll, oh, I didn't go into Homebrew, my apologies. If you go into Homebrew, I have to hold down the R button here. I know it looks like I'm looking down. It took me a while to get my setup actually going here, so I apologize for that. So I'm going to disconnect my Nintendo Switch. We're going to go back over to the laptop here now, and we are going to plug it into the computer. Okay, as you guys can see here, it wants to import. We're not going to worry about that. Opening up a folder here, we just go down to the Nintendo Switch, go into the SD card, and we are going to go into the Switch folder and into Checkpoint, going under Saves. And there's a folder here for the Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online. As you can see, there's a new folder here called Stadium 2 Test. Now this is actually going to be our current backup that we have here. Now you're going to see that there are two folders. So the first folder here, the 3309, that is Pokemon Stadium 2. So we're going to right click, we're going to copy. And for the purpose of this, we are going to go to the desktop, which is where I have all of my stuff stored. We're going to go into Pokemon Stadium 2. As you can see, I already have a folder here, which is the 3309. I'm just going to call this one .old because obviously I don't want to worry about that. I don't want to overwrite what I already got. So the 3309 folder, there is going to be a file called cartridge.sram. Okay, in order to use this cartridge.sram with Project 64, what you have to do is you have to convert the file to a different file type. The file type is .fla at 128 kilobits. So we have to use a online converter called savefileconverter.com. When you get to the website, you have to click onto the Nintendo Switch Online, which I've already got here. We are going to select our Switch file and the platform. Okay, so we are converting from the Switch over to our emulator format. I got to find my folder here where I put that. So if I go into the 3309 folder, there's the cartridge.sram, and we are going to convert it over to 128 kilobits cartridge.fla for an emulator or RAW. So we're going to convert. It's going to download the file. I'm going to cut the file. And where we are going to put this for the Nintendo 64 Project 64 emulator is this specific path here. You're going to find it under this PC, under your local hard drive, Program Files x86, Project 64, under Save, and under Pokemon Stadium 2. So you go into here and hit Paste. Now I already have a game save that's already there. As you can see, the title is Pokemon Stadium 2. We are going to rename this file. We're going to copy the title, and we're going to call this .old because we do not want to delete it, but we have to rename that cartridge.fla file to Pokemon Stadium 2.fla. Okay, once you've done so, what you can do is open up your Project 64, load Pokemon Stadium 2, and if we are lucky enough, our game save should already be in here. As you can see, I have the transfer pack currently enabled with my game save from my Game Boy Color. Now if we take a look, we should still have a team currently registered. As you can see, we have a team right from my in-game team. Meganium, Ampharos, Slowking, Fortress, Noctowl, and Steelix, some of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. However, Meganium, I'm more of a Feraligatr kind of fella, but for the instance of this, I used Chikorita as my starter. We're going to back out here. As you can see, it has my Pokemon Gold cartridge currently into the emulator. And I can flip through all of my boxes here. So all of my Pokemon that I've obtained through my Pokemon Gold game is all right here. Okay. So you can go in, you can basically add them into a party, register your team, and away you go. Okay. Now, for the purpose of this here, we are going to do something a little different. Okay, we are going to use Pkhex to inject some Pokemon into the game. Now, before we do so, if you guys don't know how to use Project 64, there's a few things that you need to know. So if you open up your Project 64 and go into Configuration, you need to go to the Plugins section, and under Input, you need to have enabled Enrage for Project 64. This is the plugin for the Transfer Pak. As you guys know, in the previous tutorial that I did for Nintendo 64's Pokémon Stadium, I used a different emulator, and it's not that great. But you know what? Project 64 is the best one to go for. You guys told me that the packages and everything have been updated since years before when I tried it. But the plugin is already there when you download the latest version. So you don't have to download anything else. You just have to enable it. Okay, so make sure you have Enrage already enabled. Once you've done so, you have to go into your input settings, and under controller number 1, you have to go to your controller pack. Under controller pack, you have to select raw data, select the transfer pack in the drop-down list that's here, and you have to select your Game Boy ROM file, which is your .gbc or .gb file, and you have to put your game save here. If you guys have been playing Pokemon on, let's say, your Nintendo 3DS with Virtual Console, or let's say you were playing on Visual Boy Advanced, which is one of the more popular emulators, you can still do this process here. You do not have to rip your game cartridge like I do. I'm just very old school when it comes to Pokemon. I literally have every kind of device you can think of, okay? So if you are using physical cartridges versus Virtual Console, or let's say an emulator, you can put your game saves in here. Do not worry. Okay. So once you've done that and you reboot your Nintendo 64, Project 64 emulator, you can actually go in, reload Pokemon Stadium 2 or Pokemon Stadium 1, and you can access your transfer pack. Okay. So we're actually going to end the emulation here. We're going to open up Pkhex for this tutorial. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to close everything that's here. I apologize. I have a very messy system because I do very many things. Okay. We are going to open up our game save, which I actually had onto the desktop. And here's my game save for Pokemon Gold. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of different Pokemon that are in this PC here. We're going to go to an empty box, box number 10. And then what we're going to do is we are going to go to a new website. Well, not really a new website. You guys know what it is. It's Smogon. We're going to smogon.com. All right. We're going to go to the Strategy Pokédex, open it up. Hit the wrong generation. We're going to go to Gold and Silver. Now, I want to have an Arcanine. So from what I can see here, there's a couple of different Arcanines that are here. There's Fire Blast, Extreme Speed, Sunny Day, and Rest, or there's Curse and Hidden Power Fighting. I'm not really big on the whole Hidden Power Fighting scenario, but you know what? We are going to... Let's get a Gen 1 Arcanine here. Let's go to UU. Agility, Body Slam, Hyper Beam, and Fire Blast. That's cool. Import with the Auto Legality mod. Met location. Don't think we need any of that. We're going to put Arcanine into box number 10. Next Pokemon I love to have is I like Alakazam. Alakazam is a favorite of mine. So we are going to do the same thing. Psychic, Dynamic Punch. I'm always a Thunder Punch kind of fellow myself, but Fire Punch here will do. We are going to copy this. Tools, import with the legality mod. Boom. We got Alakazam. Okay, next up, Feraligatr. Feraligatr. You guys know he is one of my favorite Pokemon, as I mentioned earlier. We are going to add him here into the game. Hydro Pump, Earthquake, Rock Slide. Curse seems pretty cool. We'll do it. But he has leftovers here. We don't want leftovers. I don't think we can register duplicate items. That's all right. We'll export it anyways. Tools, import, done. I'm going to make this one a shiny one because I love Feraligatr, one of my favorite Pokemon. And I think we will give him a Mystic Water. How's that? For Arcanine, we're going to go back to Arcanine. We're going to give him a Charcoal. Just for fun. Next Pokemon up. What will we put in here? Let's go with Steelix. Steelix is a great Pokemon. Let's go and do this. We're going to give him some soft sand here as well. So we're going to select all, copy. Oop. Tools, import. Yes. Give him soft sand. Oop. Soft sand. Okay, so that's 4 Pokemon. We've got 2 that are weak to water. We probably need some grass Pokemon here somewheres. What is a good Gen 2 grass type? We're going to go with Blossom. Because, you know, Blossom is a pretty cool Pokemon. Let's go with... It does have Hidden Power Grass. Perfect. Now, this one here, I don't know what we would do, but let's go with... what kind of items are in this game? It's been so long since I played Stadium 2, guys. Let's go with the seed. What was the seed? Can't think of what it's called. That's so bad. That's so bad. Miracle Seed. There we go. Even better. We're going to make it female and shiny. Okay. So we've got ourselves 5 Pokemon. Let's go for number 6. What Pokemon should we put in here? We do not have an electric type yet. So maybe Ampharos? What do we have here? We don't really have too many physical Pokemon, do we? Oh well. This is all in good fun, though. If you guys really want to get competitive, you guys can do pretty much anything here you wish. All you have to do is figure out exactly what your team is and inject it as so. Now, one thing to take into consideration if you guys do not have a custom firmware switch, but your friend does, all it takes is one person to do this process. You basically go through, you register as many teams as you can. I believe the maximum in the original Stadium was 10. I'm not sure if it's the same in Pokemon Stadium 2. But all you have to do is register the teams, and the person that has modified or registered the teams needs to be the host. So your partner has to connect into the host. Okay, so we're going to export the game save here. I'm going to call this one .old because I don't like overwriting any of my files. You guys can do as you wish, but I like to do this way. You never know when a good game save is going to come in handy. So let's go back into Pokemon Stadium 2. We already have our game set up to use the transfer pack. I've already modified my game save to import the Pokemon. So we're going to load up the emulator for Stadium 2. Okay, here we go. There's the game pack. Let's go into the Stadium. We're going to go into Free Battle. It doesn't matter what category you really select. Anything goes is probably best. We're going to go into this here. I gotta find, I think it was box number 10, I think it was. There we go. So that is the Pokemon that we've already specified. So we've got ourselves a Blossom, we've got Ampharos, Arcanine, Alakazam, Feraligatr, and Steelix. You hit OK to register, and that's all you have to do, guys. That's it. From here on, you can actually stop the emulation because your game save has already been modified for the game. Okay? So now what we have to do is we have to reconvert back over to an SRAM format. Okay, so we're going to go back to this website here, the Save File Converter. We're going to hit the arrow, which is going to go from the emulator raw to the Switch. Okay? From here, you're going to browse, and we are going to go to where our save file is for Pokémon Stadium 2 in Project 64. Again, that is located in this PC, your C drive, Program Files x86, Project 64, save under Pokémon Stadium 2. Now, the file that you're going to be selecting is the Pokemon Stadium 2.fla. You're going to hit this. The platform you are going to select is Nintendo 64. And as you can see, it's going to output to a format called Pokemon Stadium 2.sram. You're going to hit Convert. As you can see, you've downloaded the file here. We are going to go back to our Switch, if our Switch is still connected, which I believe it is. Okay, here's our Nintendo Switch. You're going to go to the SD card. You're going to go to the Switch folder, Checkpoint, Saves, Switch Online. My Stadium 2 Test is what we call the folder. Under Saves, and 3309. As you can see, there is a cartridge.sram file. All you have to do is just drag and drop your file onto, wrong folder. Drag and drop it into your Nintendo Switch folder for N3309. In this case, I'm going to have to copy it. I apologize. It's making a liar out of me. And we have to rename. So we're going to rename the whole thing, copy the original name from the SRAM file, delete it, rename the file you downloaded, and then you can disconnect your Nintendo Switch. Okay, we're going to disconnect our Nintendo Switch and put it back onto the docking station. And we are going to go back over to our Switch itself. Okay, we're going to back out, go into Checkpoint, change our profile, Stadium 2 Test, and we're going to restore it. So now, if we close out of Homebrew, go back into the Nintendo 64 online. Let's give it a second here. As you can see, we are loading into the application here. Give it a second. Here's Pokemon Stadium 2, which is what we modified. And if we're lucky, our game save should already be here. As you can see, this is not the emulator. This is Switch Online on the Nintendo Switch. I am using Joy-Cons. Okay, player 1 versus the Com. Anything goes. Free battle. And we have 3 registered teams now. As you can see, this is the test team that I registered originally when I created my game save. This is the in-game team from my Pokemon Gold cartridge. And then here is the team that we actually injected with Pkhex. So let's choose this team here. We're going to choose something for the computer to use. We're going to choose the same team. Doesn't matter. Now, you can go through and register as many teams as the game will allow you to do. Use this however you guys see fit. This is the best way to use the Transfer Pack capability and be able to have that full Pokemon Stadium 2 experience. So let's get into a little battle here. As you can see, we are going to start off the battle. I think I'm going to go with the Arcanine, Steelix, Feraligatr, Ampharos, Blossom, and Alakazam. Here we go, guys. Getting into our very first Pokemon Stadium 2 battle. I would very much like to be able to bring Pokemon Stadium battles back into our Discord over at Snowpoint Temple. If you guys are interested into that, I will set up some tournaments with Pokemon Stadium and Stadium 2. And we can register a couple of teams and go from there if anybody wishes to do so. We are going to try to get every generation back up and running for competitive play. So we're going to try to do from Gen 1 all the way through to Gen 9. We're going to create individualized chats, and we're going to get that set up. If you guys have a Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS, if you guys got any capabilities of doing 3rd Gen or Showdown battles, we're going to try to get things all set up over on the Discord. The link will be in the description below. So if you guys are interested, be sure to do the invite, join in. Same thing as well, if you guys are looking for competitive Pokemon for the current generation, I actually have a trade system that's implemented into the Discord. All you have to do is go in and copy and paste your Showdown template, and it will trade the Pokemon out to you right away over the Nintendo Switch. Same thing with raids. If you guys are looking for any kind of raids to get Herba Mysticas or anything, it's all over into the Discord. We've got things for Sword and Shield, Let's Go Pikachu. We've got Pokemon Legends Arceus and BDSP bots that are there as well, so be sure to check those out. So unfortunately for me, I've gone for the Hyper Beam here. I probably should have swapped out. I hope I do not get hit by this Hydro Pump. If I do, that's going to be extremely devastating to this Arcanine. Somehow I managed to live, which was kind of cool, but let's go for that Body Slam. Now, the cool thing with Pokemon Stadium 2, guys, is you can actually connect up any game save for red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, or crystal. The only thing you won't be able to do with the Switch Online, of course, is the Game Boy Tower. That's going to be very unfortunate. You won't be able to do that, but you guys can always do that over on the Project 64, so it's not really a big deal. But yeah, this game is looking pretty good. Someone told me that the graphics were updated. I don't really see that. It kind of looks very standard to me, same as how it did on the Nintendo 64, but that's just me. But this is the easiest way to get your Pokemon into the stadium for Switch Online. So hopefully you guys found this tutorial interesting and helpful. I will have links down for Project 64 into the description down below. I will have a link for the save file converter that is in the browser that we use to convert a game save. I will post the file location for the 64 location for game saves. I will post as well the folder name for Stadium 2's game save file from Checkpoint. Okay? If you guys need anything further, be sure to post your comments down below. If this tutorial has been helpful, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Take care, everybody. Have a good one, and as always, peace out. Woohoo! Let's get some battles. Ooh, this is a bad type matchup. Let's go to our Blossom here.
Here comes a Pokemon Switch. Oh, it's Blossom.
Nice. Love that shiny. Oh, there's no way you're taking my Blossom, sir.
That didn't do much. How will this Pokemon Switch affect the flow of battle? What'll it do? That didn't accomplish much.
I need more practice.